Parents, you may think that giving your kids a few dollars a week is a good idea, but are you sending them the right message about money? And how do you know that you're really getting through to them, or just becoming sort of a human ATM machine? Local financial professional Brian Pearson from American Benefits Exchange is here to talk about the 5 mistakes that parents make when it comes to giving an allowance. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
All right, so I want to get through these. So let's just start in right. The first one you say actually is, I think, a bit strange. Starting too late. Parents start too late in giving an allowance.
Well, I'm a big believer of starting early with children, and experts will tell us that once children are old enough to kind of understand or begin to understand the difference between wants and needs, where they can actually count money, you know, and
Some adults don't know that.
Yeah, well, and determine the difference between a $1 bill and maybe a $100 bill. Yeah. You know, that's the time to start talking about an allowance and teaching financial responsibility.
And so when is that typically? What's the average
usually
age?
Ages 4 to 6.
Oh, really? That
so
young?
Starting that young, and definitely not waiting until high school years.
Interesting. Okay, the second one you say, focusing too much on the amount. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, the average child in the United States earns about $68 per month as an allowance. 25% of children earn over $100 per month. But it's really not so much about the amount as much as it is learning financial responsibility, determining, almost using that allowance as a budget. How much of that are they going to save? How much of that are they going to spend? How much of that are they going to even give? And it's that type of conversation.
The third one, I think a lot of parents are going to give you some pushback on, tying the money to chores. Why shouldn't you do that?
Right. Well, you know, as children get older and become adults, that's really, in my opinion, kind of a bad model, because I don't get paid for taking out the trash as an adult. I don't get paid for sweeping the garage. And so they're part of the household, and I think that's part of their responsibility. So the idea is to tie an allowance to the work or effort that's maybe outside of chores that they're performing.
Next mistake you say is giving money with no strings attached. If you can't tie it to chores and you want it to be with not with no strings attached, what do you do? Where's the middle ground?
The idea is not to just be, as you mentioned earlier, a human ATM. You know, it's setting parameters as to what type of money they're going to receive and what they need to spend it on. So a good example, real quickly, is maybe setting a budget for going back to school clothing. And here's your budget. This is what you have to spend. And there are strings attached to that. So spend it wisely.
And the last one is bailing them out. We're short on time, but basically if they make a mistake, run out of money,
there's
have to deal with the consequences.
Exactly.
All right, Brian Pearson, thank you so much. Interesting stuff. I wonder if a lot of parents out there are going to try to follow this.